Welcome back, everyone. I am the Depressed Eeyore, and this is Langrisser Mobile Apex Season 9. Alright, so the name of this game is to always ban Wehttam, or Wehttam, however you pronounce it. Thankfully, my very first match did not have him, so I didn't have to worry about him. So I went and banned Hilda. As for changes to the box, I'm trying to think. I think Tensei Jessica now has a Twilight Star, just for helping to break things like Last Rites and things like that. Moo is now 6 stars, and I am currently using SP Narm, she's actually my highest power unit, just simply because I got really good enchants on her. So far, she does put decent pressure because of her high mobility, and she does have the ability to bypass guard if she's attacking flyers. But I'm not sure if I'm going to be keeping her in the box. I'm gonna keep trying her for a bit longer, and then I may end up replacing her. Obviously, Illustrial is always pretty good, but relying on terrain is a bit rough when I tend to get the worst maps. So I'm just kind of changing things up a bit. Besides that, the box is pretty much the same as always. Alright, as for our opponent, like I mentioned, no Wehttam, which is nice. Kind of a mixture of AoE and some assassins. So, I guess some standouts, of course, is Clotaire, and we got Yulia here. Everything else is kind of things I've ran into before, so it's not too big of a deal. They banned my Lucretia first, and they actually go and grab Juggler. So my opponent actually did bother grabbing a tank, though obviously Juggler's main thing is about teleporting and exploding. So there was a lot of options as far as bans were concerned. I did not want to deal with teleports. I also did not want to deal with Clotaire's ability to just cover the entire map and didn't explode me. So went ahead and got rid of them first. Like I said, there's not too many big threats. Juggler can't really buff anyone with his faction buff if he were to bring one. Since Origins is pretty much just Sophia here. So I kind of had some free reign on what to pick. Of course, I grabbed Hilda first. They go ahead and ban Tensei Jessica and get rid of SP Sherry. They grab their SP Sherry. At this point, I was like, alright, well, let's get rid of one of their healers. They had 3 healers, so they had 4 healers. So I went ahead and banned one of the Act-Agains for now, and just to see if they would pick one. And of course, I went ahead and got rid of Ares, just because he is a pain to deal with. Went ahead and checked Marielle. It's been a while since I've actually used her. Marielle does have her exclusive weapon now. So when she's in her defense mode, healer mode, she has faster cooldown reduction, and then when she's in attack mode, she has increased damage. They went ahead and grabbed Kayura. So things I went ahead and focused on here was I was like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of Bozel, because one, he's an AoE, but the other reason is he's a faction buffer. And then I went ahead and got rid of Rosen Seal, just in case they do try to grab someone like Rian or something like that. I think Rian's Empire. I'm not entirely certain, but I went ahead and got rid of her. This would force my opponent to grab a healer if they want one. I went ahead and grab Kayura. They actually ban my Narm, which I wasn't really sure what the intention was for that, because they don't really have any flyers. They went ahead and grab Rian. It's been a while since I've had to deal with him. He's always annoying. At this point, since he didn't grab a healer, I banned both of them. So at this point, all they have is passive healing, if they want it. Went ahead and grabbed Tsubame, just to have. I was a little concerned about some of these characters having decent magic defense. Also, I just wanted more guard bypass, and to be honest, I didn't really have any other offensive units to actually pick from here. It was either grab a healer or grab a tank. So they banned 2 of my Act-Agains, leaving me with Sissy White, and they grab Yulia. So at this point, their only passive healing is Kayura and Juggler's talent, and then Yulia, either her weapon and or her. In this case, she has faith, so when she attacks, she'll heal. And Rian technically can heal himself, I think, whenever he does any AoEs. Or whenever he does any skills. In any case, Tsubame, standard kit with higher mobility with Quickstep. Sissy White, I did bring Mass Attack, so I can actually buff everyone. Kayura, standard Star Slash Magic Shine. Hilda, standard build with War Goddess, and then Marielle. I've been using Amazon Champions because I find their damage to be more reliable, even against things that have infantry. And then pretty standard here, Enduring Faith with God King's Aegis and 3C. As for our opponents, Kayura has the same build, and I think the same stats. Yeah, 6 stars. Yulia here. This Yulia does have her exclusive armor. Faith, 3C, and Godly Menace, pretty standard. We got Jugler here with Triton and Great Dragon Barrier, so a way to actually guard against magic. So my opponent did actually bring this on purpose to be able to guard against magic. Not sure why though. Yeah, I honestly don't know why. Honestly, I expected probably B-Shock here. Sherry, Unicorns with Raging Storm and Shadow Raid. And then Rian, of course, is 3C and Arc Slash and all that nonsense. So we got that to deal with. Alright, they open with Triton. I went ahead and get Stealth up. So besides the Juggler 3C and Rian, the rest can't actually target Tsubame. So I had a little bit of flexibility here. Oh, I forgot. The theme of this particular battle is Breeze. My opponent triggered Breeze quite often. So yeah, as you can see, it covers quite a bit now. I'm also under the assumption that Kayura has the range extending staff, so I'm assuming that she has 4 range, not 3. Yeah, unfortunately, since my opponent can go first, I kind of have to play pretty defensively here and just kind of wait and see. Also, Sherry just also procced her Breeze, so 2 breezes this round. So go ahead and get Mass Attack up for Kayura. And at this point, I went ahead and put up a Lancer just in case. Alright, so my opponent went ahead and opened with our Rian's AoE. And has a... So this one's actually using the Demon Sword, so it actually will add debuffs and remove buffs whenever it gets crits. Which is actually kind of helpful, because that means he doesn't have Balance Blade. Also, he did not proc Clock, assuming he has it, so that's 1 AoE down. So Tsubame is now down on her... her stealth is gone. Unfortunately, her mobility is down, because obviously Rian's debuffs always do the worst ones. So I actually can't reach the targets I was going after. So for right now, that is kind of what it is. I still have a card. Okay. But the good news is I am actually within range of going after Cherry. And Cherry brought unicorns and not angels. So Kayura can actually probably get kill here. So I 3C. Mainly to guarantee the kill, but also to help heal some of the damage that was done earlier. So this did a couple of things. One is we don't have to worry about Sherry anymore. The other important thing, besides the healing and removing of debuffs, is Kayura's range is now, mobility has been pretty much cut in half at this point. So instant flash, I get first strike, but it's not enough to kill. So yeah, by herself with the 3C is enough to actually take her out. Yeah, and I lost the guard buff. One thing I want to check. Okay, and I was just short of full life, so I did not have last rites here. If I had last rites, there's a chance I might have been able to survive it, but it's pretty iffy. Now, the big disadvantage my opponent has right now is the fact that they have no real actual faction buffs. But unfortunately, one of the passive Yeah, it looks like a 10U gave a attack and intelligence increase. So I move in. So I attack here just so I can try to get rid of the res. So 3C goes in. Now something I kind of made a mistake on. Well, the big thing that's limiting me right now is the mobility debuff on Marielle. I can only move one space, and then I could possibly move another two with Enduring Faith, which only gives me the option of attacking Juggler directly, which kind of defeats the purpose of using 3C. So that kind of shut me down quite hard. So I went ahead and just moved up and buffed. And I just kind of move away at this point. So 3C versus my opponent did not have Twilight Star, so I was at full life. So I had the benefits of Sorceresses and Last Rites, so she couldn't get killed. She also doesn't have an attack buff. I'm a little surprised that they opened with that. I was kind of expecting Rian to go first with his Termination Slash, because more than likely he's going to get freaking heal the Curse of Wounding on everything, and then Kyra would do extra damage as a result and possibly kill herself. But instead, she went this route. Now, her moving up like this actually made it so I can actually bypass guard. So I have reduced damage right now, so I don't expect to get any kills from that. But I can now bypass guard now. So I went and got rid of Kyra. I could have tried to go after Rian. I don't know if I would have been able to get kill on Rian. It's because I mean, I'm a holy unit, but I have spirit troops, and this is at full life. There's a good chance I wouldn't have been able to do it. But getting rid of Kyra ensures I don't have to deal with any more guard bypassing. So I disabled weapon passive. I actually got kill, which was pretty impressive. Okay, exclusive procs. So I tried to kill Yulia here. Fortunately, Godly Menace made it so her life was just high enough to get a self-res again. So I pop her second res. The other benefit, though, is I get to Star Shine away, because I know Rian's coming. But yeah, essentially every time she procs her exclusive, it refreshes this buff here, so she ends up doing fixed damage and healing herself whenever people attack her. Alright, Termination Slash. I did switch to Cav class with Hilda here, so the AoE doesn't do as much damage. Also, I think I had passive negation. Yeah, so passive negation made it so I don't get refunded when my summon unit died. So moves in. Again, the breeze procs, like I said, she was constantly getting breeze procs, so I couldn't really hide from her. So not much I can do there. And unfortunately, Fatal Arc Slash had refreshed. And of course, it did Curse of Wounding again, because of course it did. So I went and attacked here. Got King's Wrath. gets killed, it's going to force a self-res again. And I get to push her away. It's not quite far enough to keep her trapped in the mist, but it was still helpful. God, that Hilda is just doing quite well. Let's just put it that way. So a few things to note. Since Juggler decided to attack rather than reapply his buffs, he is no longer guarding Rian here. So this is a full HP Rian, and right now I have nothing else going for me. So I went and moved in to attack Juggler. Juggler has no buffs, he's not in water. This is just a regular attack that critted. And I went ahead and got rid of his damage buff. Thankfully, this Rian, if he had clocked, didn't clock it proc it a single time. So all of his AoEs are on cooldown. Yeah, at this point, my opponent doesn't really have anything left. I can do Enduring Faith to heal back to full. If I wanted to, I could have just waited and reapplied a faction buff with Hilda, but there's no reason to. This is enough to kill. So it's been a while since I've used Marielle. She definitely put in work. She got majority of the kills. Yeah, she killed 4 of them. So not too bad. Definitely was a very messy fight. I definitely had some bad luck with the breeze procs on my opponent, and then and of course the debuffs that ran throughout seemed to always include Curse of Wounding, which pretty much prevented me from doing any sort of healing with Sissy White to try to heal up my tank. But even with all that, Hilda still stayed strong. The biggest issue, of course, my opponent didn't have any faction buffs, so they didn't really have any way of buffing up their attack. And once Juggler was out of water, it just can't do any damage. Anyway, give me a moment. All right. Continuing with the placement matches, my opponent here had Wehttam, so I immediately banned him. He could be 3 stars for all I know, but I just don't want to deal with him. Besides that, the rest of the box, not really much AoE. Just some. I mean, there's kind of there's characters that can AoE, but it seems to be kind of a mixed bag, which is definitely my preference because it gives me a bit more control over what sort of opponents I deal with. So let's dive right in. So I got rid of Wehttam. They get rid of my Rosen Seal, so I'm guessing they're going to be going for debuffs. They take their Rosen Seal out first for whatever reason. So at this point, since I went ahead and just went, they had 1, 2. Yeah, they had multiple tanks. Let's see, 1, 2. Oh yeah, they had 3 tanks. I was tempted to ban their tanks, but since they had 3 of them, I was just going to wait and see what my opponent picked. I definitely wanted to get rid of Hilda, because Hilda can negate crits. But for right now, I wanted to go ahead and get rid of the bigger nastiness. I went ahead and got rid of Florentia, just so I can prevent an act again. And went ahead and got rid of Lucretia, because since she's, well, it's Lucretia. So I take my Hilda. They go for my Lucretia and Florentia. They take Bozel. So at this point, I was like, alright, well, let's go ahead and get rid of anyone that increases mobility and provides teleports, as well as someone that can guard bypass. Went ahead and took Liana at this point, since I was down to 2 healers. My Liana does have her 3C. Let's see what else. Looks like they banned my Sensei Jessica and Kayura. No surprises there. They take their Kayura. So at this point, I got rid of Hilda and got rid of Lycoris. So if they want a tank, they'll have to ban it. They'll have to take one now. Went ahead and grab Tsubame, since my opponent is definitely pretty physically weak. That, and I needed some sort of guard bypass. They go ahead and get rid of Marielle and Sherry. They go ahead and take... wow, why can't I remember her name? Albedo. There we go. They take Albedo. But at this point, I get rid of Sherry, get rid of Altamuller. I did have SP Narm, but I didn't really want to rely on that against Altamuller. His teleporting AoE and double striking and all that stuff is really kind of brutal. So at this point, I went and take Hilda. Or not Hilda, Helena. They ban my Sissy White and my other tank. They take their Sissy White. So at this point, I had options. I take Moo. This map does have grasslands and forest, so I can definitely teleport there. Feels like it's been forever since I've used Helena, but pretty standard kit with angels. My Moo is now 6 stars, as mentioned before. I do have Forest Teleport with 3C and Revitalizing Blessing. Liana, I went Act Again and Ode to Creation, which is our 3C. We got Hilda, Standard Tsubame with higher mobility and Faceless, and that's pretty much it. As for our opponent, Kyura, standard kit for offense. Their Bozal did bring a faction buff, has Seal and 3C. Albedo brought pretty much her tank kit. Rose Seal, full heals. And Sissy White brought Inspire, which can actually provide additional mobility. So that's kind of interesting. Also, she's using the new troops, which is fighting monks. So the only threats I need to worry about in this battle is Kyura and Bozal. If I take out Bozal, I don't have to worry about any of the AoEs, and it will make Kyura's mobility get cut in half. And she loses a little bit. She also loses some intelligence, I think. Yeah, she loses some intelligence as well. So my goal is to kill this Bozal. I have tried in the past with Tsubame, and it seems to work out pretty well as long as I can get a crit. And since I took care of Hilda, they don't have any way of negating crits. So even with Stone Colossi, this extra damage reduction is not going to happen even with Twilight Star. And yeah, it should be good to go. So just moving Helena around to get some terrain up. Right now I'm kind of just waiting to see what their Kyura does. So when it moved in, stealth up, and since I have her exclusive, her mobility went up. So I'm in kill range. If I go here, I can attack Bozal. This will also put her in range of 3 opponents, which will maximize her talent, Silent Wing. So with that should be enough to kill that Bozal. All I have to do is act again. I actually didn't need to move for any of this, so good to go there. Alright, so with that, act again. And my opponent was kind enough to give me a 4th body, but the Silent Wing can only go up to 3 times. For like plus, I think it's like plus 24% attack and crit. So instant flash, expose weakness, killing machine, got the crits. Yep, just enough damage. Move away, get the stealth back thanks to 3C. Alright. So, at this point, their Bozal's dead. That was their primary faction buffer, so if I want to, I can just wait them out and wait for their buffs to wear off. And at this point, if Albedo decides to, if anyone moves away or Albedo moves away from guarding somebody, Helena's well within range to actually strike. Yeah, so at this point, once my opponent realized I was just going to stall, they were just going to go ahead and give up. So not much to show here, unfortunately. Just get to show off Tsubame some more, which is nice. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and call it here. I do have a few more matches to show off, so I'll save that for next time. So I'm Theta Prestige, this was Langrisser Mobile Apex Season 9, and I'll see you guys next time.